So hello and welcome to episode 8 of Gamify 24/7.
We're back!
Yay!
We return!
Yes.
So it's felt like it's been at least 5.5 years since I spoke to you guys. Are you all well?
Yeah, we've all aged 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a delay over the last few months, but it's kind of been tactical. We've taken a bit of time out to have a think about 2017 and where we wanted to go. We had some personal stuff that we all needed to do, find ourselves, go on some sort of journey to...
A pilgrimage.
Inner gaming pilgrimage.
That's the word. Yeah. Speaking of pilgrimages, we're going to start with the Switch and journeys and Zelda. And Shaun, just tell us how good it is.
I'm massively disappointed. I've been looking... I'm only joking, it's amazing! It's amazing balls, people. Yeah, the console, well, obviously we've been talking about this for months now and looking forward to it, and I've been blown away by how good it actually is. You know, I think this is the console that the Wii U should have been, and I think as long as Nintendo can fix a couple of little issues that will probably bug the wider range of people, the wider demographic, I think it'll be a massive success. Breath of the Wild, it's already one of the best games ever made based on reviews. Possibly even going to be the best game ever rated at some point, considering what's been getting from all the big sites and everything. But yeah, I'm totally blown away by it. I've only got a few games for it, but I'm loving them so far. It's totally fine for me. I think if you can add a proper browser in there that you can access properly, and maybe some Netflix or those kind of apps, the console's sorted. I think it'll sell massive amounts as long as they can get those things fixed out. So Anton's got it as well.
Yes, I completely agree. It's kind of blown me away because we've all had like various Nintendo consoles in the past, and Nintendo has these quirks. It's like, oh, the UI looks dreadful and it feels a bit plasticky. But the Switch has none of that. It feels solid, it's really smooth. You can tell they've really taken their time to make sure this is right, because as we all know, this is kind of make or break when it comes down to their hardware division, because I don't think after this, if the Switch was to theoretically fail, nobody's going to trust Nintendo anymore in the hardware division, so they kind of really need this machine to do well, and you can tell the effort and time they put into this device.
I still think it could have done a little bit more time to get some of the things ready for a launch, but I can understand why they've not done it. Like, I've been going back and forward in my head why they maybe don't have as many games available for launch, why some of these things are missing, and I can see Nintendo's point of view, assuming it's like it is a tactical decision. I can see why they've done some of those things. At the same time, I think for hardcore gamers, it's maybe a bit annoying for them because they want the stuff right now, day one. But I think that stuff's going to come. So yeah, I think it's like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Switch goes on to best like the Wii in sales. It's that good. I think. Wow. All the complaints you're seeing, all the little niggles people are going on about desyncing controllers, batteries bulging, scratch screens from docks, I think it's such a minor issue. Just like any launch, it's going to have like some technical faults, 1% of like users or something. I think the vast majority of people using it are going to be blown away by how good it is.
Okay, so we'll look at Zelda in a moment as a game in its own right, but just on the Switch, Kat, you have been the Switch critic, the resident Switch critic for the last few months.
The Switch critic.
That's like me.
And are you ready to eat your words, Kat?
I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready to switch?
Oh,
that was a good click.
I'm not ready to switch. No, I'm not being all grumpy about it still, because it does. I'll admit, having just seen in the studio here Shaun's one, it is really cool. I'm really impressed by how quickly it can go from the TV, just picking it up, and you've got it on the screen there. And like the controllers are cute as well. I think that's a really cute idea. But I'm certainly not gonna be getting one anytime soon. It's too expensive for me right now, and like if I was gonna be splurging on a game's hardware purchase, it would be the PSVR, because I've got a PlayStation. And also, like, I have never been a massive Zelda fan at all, and that seems to be like the main selling point at the moment, I think, for it. That's all I've really heard at the moment, is just Zelda.
So I want to ask a question on that, Kat, because interestingly, I would say as much as I've always wanted to like Zelda, I've never really found a Zelda game that I've grown attached to. But one thing that I've heard a lot of people saying is that this is one of those games that even if you're not a Zelda fan, you're going to like it, because what it does cleverly is it tends to reward you quite well for what you're doing. And I'm somebody that likes rewards. I like to get told I'm doing well. So the good thing about the new Zelda game is that every 10 to 15 minutes, you can do something that equals a reward of some sort. So it feels like you're constantly making progress, and it's at such an open world that it doesn't quite feel like the old Zelda, although it still has that Zelda thing going. Sean's probably the best qualified to say, because he's played old Zeldas and he's played the new one.
Well were you a Zelda fan before?
I wasn't a Zelda fan.
Were any of us ever Zelda fans?
I played like the first maybe hour of Ocarina of Time, because it was like the best game.
I've got further than that, actually. Ocarina of Time. I got it for the 3DS.
Likewise, yes.
So I played it on that, and it was okay, but it was like, I think I was missing the nostalgia factor there.
Yeah.
I think that's really what the selling point was for people, because I just couldn't be bothered just like dungeon crawling anymore. I was just like, nah. But that, like, having seen Zelda on the TV here, like half an hour ago, it didn't look like Zelda, not the way that I think about it, and it looked really, really nice, and I was really impressed by how big the map was and everything like that. But in what
a big map.
what you said about like maybe it outselling the Wii, I don't know. The reason the Wii sold best for me, I think, was because it appealed to whole families so much. Like, my grandmother was playing Wii bowling with us at Christmas and stuff like that when it first came out. I cannot see my grandmother playing that, unfortunately.
Well, I'll come back to that, because I think this is something that once you've experienced snipper clips, you'll get it a bit more. I think, like, on a visual level, the Wii was really easy to understand. You had this remote, you swung, it worked. The Switch does all that as well, but it's a little bit more hidden when you just look at it like that, because they're attached to the console. But I think when you play something like snipper clips and you play two players, you start to get where it works and stuff. You start to get where it's like this multiplayer aspect of it. And I think that's where one of the complaints some people have been saying is the user interface is really simple. But I think that's its big advantage, is I think that's where Nintendo went wrong with the Wii U. They made this over-convoluted system. It was named terribly, it was confusing. They asked people what a Wii U was, they thought it was a peripheral for this for the Wii. It just didn't work really on a whole level. I got it because I'm a gamer. I understand that I follow this news, so I understood instantly what the Wii U was and enjoyed the console, great games in it. But the Switch, I think, it's got a really easy interface, so it's easy to understand. You pick up something like snipper clips and you give someone a controller and you say, there it is, there, and play it. It's honestly, I tried with Lindsay, she got it straight away. It's so easy to understand. Zelda has made me a bit more complex, it's quite a hard game, so that's probably not the best one to sell you an idea. But yeah, something like snipper clips is probably, and 1-2 switch, which I've not got, I'm not going to get, but that's probably a good one to show.
See, I'm kind of in the same boat as Kat. I don't think it's going to be quite up there with the Wii, but I'm thinking like maybe 3DS level. That's how I see it. The Switch won't be replacing a PS4 anytime soon, but the 3DS Vita is going to outsell the Vita obviously, but the 3DS and DS, I could easily see them going a lot further than them, because it's like, you say to somebody, it's like, hey, you need a new handheld. Your 3DS hasn't had games in years because Nintendo has killed it off, even though they say they're going to support it. That's my theory. But anyway, that's a side note. They're still going to be like, oh, here's a new console. It's almost as powerful as an Xbox One. It's got all these games, the home console. So I can easily see a console like that outselling a 3DS, easy peasy. And I feel like they're targeting almost a similar demographic of people. It's like, hey, you want your new Pokemon? You're an average player. You play a bunch of games, but you're not looking to play Grand Theft Auto on the go. I feel like that's kind of the audience that's going to have its best.
At the same time, though, like, what was it, 280? 280 quid for a handheld is not viable. No.
So, well, this is where I'm at the moment. So I haven't bought it, and I'm the only one that hasn't had the experience of it in a room, but I'm probably also the one that's likely to go and splurge on it more than anyone else. But I am actually doing it sensibly. I'm going to sell some old consoles. When I say old consoles, they're not old consoles. I'm talking about, stuff that's almost current gen, maybe last gen. But anyway, I'm going to sell some stuff, right? And I'm seeing it very much as a portable that I can then play at home, right? I see it that way round. That's how I'm viewing it. And what the attraction for me is that if I'm traveling, I love the idea of being able to sort of play a game that I've been playing at home and then plug it in at the hotel and go, I'll just have a shot in the telly now, or take it on the train or take it on the plane. That's where the attraction for me is. So I think what they've got to do is be careful that they don't fall into this is just a portable trap. And I know they won't, but I think that's maybe where people are seeing it. And I think there's more people seeing it as a portable than actually as a serious console.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had the images of Michael when he said he's going to sell stuff there of his wife coming back to the kitchen. There's no pots and pans or anything. It's like, I had to get a Switch.
You just go into the living room, it's like an empty room with like a cardboard box with a Switch on it.
Touch up on your thing there, Michael. Yeah, like I think the portability is the big thing. I think it was difficult to say it's a home console because it's no living up to, on a spec level, it's not matching the PlayStation 4 or Pro or the Xbox One even. But they couldn't really go with a portable because then it's not competing. They've not got something for the home console. I think if you look at it, like from a gamer's perspective, you look at it, if you're into games, it's a super powerful handheld, really powerful. I think what people are missing when it comes to the Switch on a graphical level is they keep thinking to themselves, it's just a slightly more powerful Wii U, and they're thinking, well, I'm only going to get slightly more powerful Wii U games. I think you're looking at it in the wrong way, because if you think about the Wii U, it was doing it for 2 screens. So you take all that power back away from the second screen, now you've got a pretty powerful console, so it's still good enough. If you look at Breath of the Wild, Fast Racing, RMX, these are launch day games. Obviously Zelda's a port from the Wii U version. That's how good these games are looking on day one. I can't wait to see what it's like in a year's time. Super Mario Odyssey, you've got Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Once those games, because you think like with Breath of the Wild, that was the Xenoblades team, Monolith Soft, worked on that as well with the Zelda team. And that's obviously, you can see it in the size of the scope of the land. So I think when you see them pushing this hardware with a single screen, I think it's going to be looking phenomenal. And I think that's where Nintendo's always been really good. Their first party teams is when they push the console, it matches some of the PlayStation and Xbox stuff just because their teams are that good. And then, yes, I'm hoping that third party stuff comes in. Honestly, and I'd like to be sitting here in a year or two time and seeing how close we are to like numbers, because I think this is going to sell massive. Honestly, I genuinely believe this has got potential to beat like a Wii sales.
Well, the early indications seem to be good in terms of sales, and they're talking about Zelda being selling more. There was a figure I heard today, and I can't remember. I think it was Wii Sports they compared it to, selling more than Wii Sports did early on at this stage in the cycle. But I think the thing is, anyone that's buying a Switch on launch day is probably buying Zelda, right? I mean, you're not going to buy it, and as much as the other games are great, you're not going to buy it for the other games. You're going to buy it on launch day because you're a gamer and you want Zelda and the Switch, or you want the Switch and you want the best game on the Switch, right? So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm kind of with you, Shaun. I actually think it's going to sell really, really well. I wouldn't even be surprised if we're talking record-breaking levels within 6 months. I really do. I genuinely think it's going to sell well.
Look at numbers, right? If you think of previous console launches, even the Wii U, where it had, you go back to the Wii as well, all these console launches have happened Christmas time. Yeah. Like with the big sales, everyone launches at Christmas time, October, November. So that's where the big sales have come from. Nintendo's launching completely off schedule here in a March launch, and they've already matched, they've got their best sale or best selling system in Nintendo's history on a March. They've got the best-selling Nintendo or launch title. And you think Wii Sports came with the Wii and it was free for a lot of people. Are they counting those numbers? I don't know. Are they counting those numbers or just the sales ones in Japan? But either way, it's already beaten that for a launch day. And yeah, of course, like Zelda's the big title. But if you can launch and in the next couple of months, say you've sold 5 million consoles and it's sold 5 million Zeldas already, it's off to like a killer start. And I've been saying for months now, I think this is something where it went through my head after seeing the January reveal thing. I was kind of a bit bummed by how much software they had left off and they weren't showing. And I was saying this is a pretty sort of like abysmal launch. But the more and more I thought of it is, well, you've got Zelda, and if you really are a gamer and you're buying a console for good games, I think Zelda's going to tide over a lot of people. And when you've got Fast RMX, Snipper Clips, other ones, you've got Neo Geo games now. I think there's plenty there for people to get by until E3. When E3 hits, I think it's been part of Nintendo's plan, I hope it is anyway, If they come out at E3 and they say we've got a Metroid, we've got a Pokemon coming, we've got Animal Crossing, here's Mario Odyssey, that's it. It's going to skyrocket.
I think their strategy, the possibility of it selling really well, sorry I'm stuttering, is we're going to have this kind of first year, kind of like if you look back at some consoles like the 3DS. The first year of the 3DS was very slow. And then all of a sudden we get to a holiday season, this time let's say Christmas, we go there, people are looking at new consoles, and then they see Switch there with a year's backlog. It isn't like their new console and they're like, oh, we've got 2 games that are kind of By the time Christmas rolls around, we're going to have such an assortment of games.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, possibly Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Super Mario Odyssey, whatever else I've said as well, Snipper Clips and stuff, the games that are out there already. If that's what they've got on 1 year, just Nintendo games, that's incredible. And I think big games are going to come from third parties. There's already a rumour about an Assassin's Creed and Grand Theft Auto 5 coming to the Switch, getting announced at E3. Don't know where it's come from, probably from NeoGAF or something. But if that,
and I think they're going to be redoing Lego City as well,
that's due out in next month or something, isn't it?
Yeah, which is quite cool because I like that game, and if they can make it significantly, if they can improve it significantly, that'd be something that would be quite cool. Anyway, we're going to have to switch topic because we have
like it.
That was from one of your best-selling joke books, Shaun. And moving on to the PlayStation 4 update this week, and there's been a few things that they've done which have been pretty cool with the new update, and the interface looks a little bit, it's certainly slicker, I think, anyway, but there's one thing over everything else which has been the kind of talking point of the latest update, and I'm going to ask Kat about this as well because I know she likes her PS4, but the big update is that they're allowing you to use external hard drive storage. So I stuck in a 2 terabyte external hard drive, and for the first time I can now have all my games ready to play. I'm doing it right now. Honestly, it's been updating for about 7 days now, but once that's done, I can play all my games without having to uninstall because I've got no blinking space left to play them. And for me, they've probably just stopped me from upgrading to PS4 Pro because I'm going to use that for the next 6 months at least,
I'm pretty sure I did the update the other day. I switched it on and I was like, here's an update, and I went, okay, I'll do that, go. And just left it to it. I didn't even notice what it had done because I was just like, okay, I'll just let it do it, whatever. In terms of storage, I have a terabyte PS4, and it's not ever warned me about using up too much space because I'm one of those people
I'm only 500, you see.
I'll just claim stuff from the store and I won't download it because I'll go, I know I'm not going to play this for a while, so I'll just have it in my library. I've got so much in the library that I've not even downloaded, so I'm quite good with the space, I think. But I can see how a lot of people, especially people who do buy a lot of stuff on the store and will download it and play it. I know people who buy loads in the sales. This will be
my biggest problem with it isn't that I'm playing loads and loads of games. It's that I have a core of about 5 to 10 games which are online multiplayers, for example, or party games, or things that I play with friends. And even just putting 5 or 6 of them on, that's my storage gone at 500 gig, right? So that's where I have the thing, is that I've got a big backlog of games to finish, and all, like everyone else. But it's the extra ones that I don't want to keep taking off because I might only play them once in a month. But I want to keep it there so that when my friend comes round, or I want to go online, I can do it.
Yeah.
See, now this is really interesting. In my head, I'm thinking about the Switch again, but I think it's a good thing that it's coming out. I think this is a good option to have the expandability. But I find it surprising because there was big uproars about the Switch only having 32 gigs and these other consoles having 1 terabyte or 500 gigs. And I've always had this idea in my head that it doesn't make any difference because, like you're saying, Michael, you've got things like the Star Wars games, 45 gig. You've got Call of Duty, isn't it 70 gig or something?
Yeah.
It's 70 gig. So as you're saying, you have 5-10 games, that's your space used up. And it's not even because you're playing the games online, it's because you've got to install the actual game itself. So
that's the problem.
This is where it's a false economy, where people have got this idea, I'm getting 1 terabit. Yeah, but you're not getting 1 terabit to put the games you want on. You've got to have every single game on there. It's not just for storing stuff, it's for putting all your games on there, even though you've got the disc.
Yeah, that annoys me.
I think it's a complete false economy. And everyone's sitting there saying, the Switch only came with 32 gigs. it doesn't bother me because everyone's just going to upgrade to a memory card anyway, the 200 gigs or up to 2 terabits eventually, but obviously that costs a fortune. But yeah, I think the option there, it's nice to have the option. I'm just surprised that nobody's ever picked up on that too much and went mental about that. Like, I sat there and installed Star Wars because I wanted to play the VR update. The VR update was only 7 gigs, but to use the VR update, I had to install the full game. So I had to install the game, which was 45 gig, and then the update, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So I sat there for about 2 hours whilst it installed.
I hate it. Because you know when you get a new desk and you're psych yourself up. I'm one of those people, like, I'll look at the box, I'll read the little book that comes with it. They don't really do that much anymore, but I used to really like that. And you psych yourself up, and then you wait for the perfect moment.
You've got 3 hours.
Put the disc in, and you're like, I'm ready to play. And then it's like, oh wait, no, you've got to install for however long. It just annoys me.
The worst thing is like if you have, let's say, 15 games, you're like, you can only have like, let's say, 10 of them on there. And then you get a craving to play on a game that's not there, and it's like, okay, I'll solve this now, I'll come back in 4 hours. Might be done.
I know.
Then you go play and then you've got updates.
I forget that I've not installed or downloaded something properly. Just thinking of this instantaneous world that we live in that I've gotten used to foolishly.
Well,
Can't do
I think
it.
that's the thing. That's the thing for me is that I'm talking about this being brilliant, but actually this should have been day one, or it should be that you don't actually, there should be a way. I'm not being funny, but it's 2017. You shouldn't need to install every disc 70 gigs of a game just to play it, right?
No,
so
that's
that should
like
have been a day one
old-fashioned
thing.
computer thing. That's why I'm like happy that you don't need to like put the disc in and install like on the 360. You just put the disc in and then it's like, well, there's the game.
Yeah,
The thing is,
exactly.
I can see why that is there though, because what's happening now, let's just take the 70 gig game or 60 gig game, whatever it is. There's too much information there to stream that from the disk. So I can understand why these companies are doing it, but this is where a big part of the flaw is coming in modern game design, is you've got games that are taking up 60, 70 gigs, and you have to install it because it can't stream it quick enough from the disk. So if you install it to the machine, it works better. But this is where things like the Switch is changing it up again. It's changing up by a cartridge that loads up in about 5 seconds. You're like,
Yeah,
and there's
I wonder
no
what
install,
the heck
right?
discs are still doing.
Yeah.
Like, why do we still have discs? Like, I get people like that's what I was thinking about the Switch the other day. I was absolutely thinking about the Switch the other day and the cartridges, mainly the whole licking the cartridges thing everyone seems to be doing. Have you done that, Shaun?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Is it minging?
It is minging, it's horrible. Yeah.
So I was thinking everyone's all licking these cartridges, and then I was kind of like, what the hell are discs all about? Why? And environmentally as well, what are discs all about? Because come on, oil and plastic, let's get rid of that.
Well, we had this conversation, didn't we, in a previous episode about download prices, and we talked about how that was a real killer for actually making any real progress, and we understood the reasons for it. But you're right, it's kind of wacky that we're still using discs in 2017. But Shaun, just on that, because for the Switch, just to clarify, I'm assuming then that with the cartridge in the Switch, there's no install, you're just away you go, right?
The way it works is exactly like that. You put the disc in, and almost instantaneously you can see the image for the cart straight away in your desktop thing. So you can see it straight away there. You load it up, and that's it. You don't have to install anything. It saves in the background. It saves to the storage on the Switch itself. It's just super quick. And coming from a game where it takes like a minute to load up and stuff, going from that to 5-10 seconds, it's amazing. So I think obviously we went through a phase where there was cartridges with N64, and then they were quite expensive to make because they had the onboard memory and all that stuff. We switched to CDs, they were much quicker, much cheaper to make. Then we switched to Blu-rays, they could store like 25 gigs or 50 gigs, whatever. So then they can make these big massive games and everything. But as a price of that, unfortunately it's come at the cost of it takes too long to load all these assets into the system. So now we're installing them all in consoles, and that's coming with a massive downgrade as you're having to wait for things to install, you're having to take up all your memory. So it's like all this kind of stuff is just like stuff that's being created that's unnecessary. And I think we're going to start to see the switch back to cartridges. I think we'll start seeing these companies. I think the Switch has set a precedent, and I'm going to be surprised if the PlayStation 5 is a portable like the Switch.
See, if we did a drinking game of every time somebody says the word Switch in this episode,
my God.
not even just referring to the console,
Wait, you guys weren't drinking there?
you
I
would be
was.
so steaming
having
by the end of this podcast.
Sean would be like way more steaming than everyone else. Let's be honest about it.
But
Okay, so basically we're saying 2017. Welcome to the future, where the past is the future, where the Mega Drive and the SNES and everything that we could do 20 years ago. That's what we want. We want more of that,
Yeah.
right?
Honestly, sorry. Just on a purely hardware technical level, to me, it's went the exact way as what it should go right now with the Switch with the cartridges. We went from these bigger cartridges that held less memory, and we went to this tiny cartridge that holds way more memory now. And discs have just been sticking there. Same size, just more memory. Same size, more memory. Same size, more memory. And it's like, it doesn't work now. We need to get rid of
The thing
that.
with that is also, though, to be fair to discs, I know I was just slating them a
They
minute
make
ago.
good frisbees.
To be fair to discs, I am very careful because I know they can get scratched and broken easily, really, really easily. They're not very durable. So I put them back in the box, close the box. I don't lose the box because it's quite big. Whereas with my 3DS cartridges, God only knows where half of them are. I've started putting them in my purse, all over the place, just cause. How big are these?
It's the exact same size, just
Oh
thinner.
my god, see, but like, I mean, just like the cartridge itself is like tiny, it can fit in my purse, and that's where I started putting things, and then I'd lose them all because it's like, I'm not gonna like scratch it, it's just like I could just chuck it about and it'd be fine, not that I'm gonna, but I can lose them so easily. So yes, discs for me, at least I can keep them all.
I've got some bad news for you guys regarding discs. People used to think the discs were going to last forever, and people have started noticing that there's oxidation is happening to the layer inside the discs.
Oh my
So they're seeing the
God.
discs are starting to go like discoloured, and there's lots of old games that are in discs that are screwed now. They can't actually get the code back and stuff, and they've not got an actual working version of a disc. So even if you've had a disc and it's been sealed up, some guys tested this, even if the disc was sealed up in its box, never been opened, they went and checked it and opened it up, and it's discoloured and the disc is unusable. The code's gone essentially. So discs.
Oh my god. So if you've got any really, really, really old discs, just sell them now before everyone
Get a
starts
cartridge,
realising
you just
this.
blow in it.
you see, the thing is, I'm actually, now that we're on the point of PlayStation, next Xbox, cartridges or discs, I think they're definitely going to need to go for cartridges, because if you look at like the PS4 games and Xbox One games, when the consoles came out, day one we had like 45 gig games, and the Blu-ray only goes up to 50 gigs.
Yeah.
So moving forward, like there's some games like the Master Chief Collection, they couldn't fit that onto a Blu-ray, so they had to have 20 gigs of that offset on the internet that you had to download.
See,
So
I don't mind changing discs back to olden times where you had a computer game that had like 8 discs, and you'd have to you'd get to one part of the map and it's like, insert disc 6.
That's part of the
And
experience.
you'd be like, oh wow, I'm in a new bit. That's what I'd be like, oh my god, I'm progressing, wow.
Or the craziest double-sided discs where you have to flip them upside down to get the
so
other half of the game.
Bring that back maybe,
Hey,
if that
hey,
would
can I-
stop my
can I just-
installation time.
Can I just say, I remember when you used to have to use cassettes and then turn over to side 2 of your cassettes.
that's
So
right.
hey, discs
yeah.
are futuristic for me.
And then you put it in and it wasn't rewound. Oh man.
No, all the nightmares you used to have, and then somebody recorded the charts over your game, and that was just a nightmare. So moving on then, we're going to just very briefly touch on some of the new releases, some that are out, some that are coming out. I know we've got Mass Effect coming up, we've got all sorts of stuff. In fact, there's so much stuff that we're going to need to like do another episode, which, funnily enough, I think we're going to do one in a week, so that's quite helpful, you know. So we've got a couple. Horizon out on PS4, we've got Resident Evil 7. Who wants to tell us something about one of those?
Well, Sean's the only one that's played Horizon, I think, out of us.
Yes.
I played Resident Evil here in the studio on the stream in VR with Shaun, who also, he played the whole thing. I did not, thankfully, have to play the whole thing. So Shaun, you can say your 2 cents.
Horizon, I've only just really, I played the first hour, it was kind of the tutorial part. Looked alright, I never got into the main game fully because I think that first tutorial you're still a little kid. So it looks nice and stuff, but this is again the thing I was talking about, like with Cat, compared to Breath of the Wild. I think just the mechanics of it, the physics of it, and doing stuff and it works the way you expect it to work. I think it's just a superior game in that level. Although I've not played enough of Horizon to say how good it is. I know it's getting great reviews as well. I think Breath of the Wild is just on a different level, not on a graphical level, as mean on a different level as in how much has went into the mechanics of the game. So I can't really comment on that too much. The Resident Evil, you can check the stream out. Amazing game, absolutely amazing. Playing it in VR is definitely the way to do it. I think if you can get a VR headset, play it on that, because I had a quick shot of just playing it normally, and I don't know, just going from playing the VR version and feeling totally immersed in it was completely different from playing it normally. I felt it was just another shooter when I was playing it normally, but when I'm in the VR, just the immersion, yeah. It's like, I suppose that is, it's just the immersion makes it. It's just a different level, you know. So, great game, great story. I played it to the end. I was frightened during parts of it. It was creepy as hell, but I just wanted to keep playing it. And I think I'll go back in when the download content comes out as well, just to play that, the Leon or the whatever code like download thing. I forgot what it's called now, but I'll probably play that as well, just because it was really, really good. So yeah, great return to the series. Resident Evil. I was never a massive fan of it. I played Resident Evil 4, like that on the GameCube and the Wii, but I've never really been a big, massive Resident Evil fan. This has got me right back into it. If they can keep it like this format and build upon that, fantastic. So, yeah.
Good. Right, I think, is there anything else you want to add to any of the new stuff that's out? Anyone? Anton, Kat?
Yeah, that's all I played, so I don't know, do you just want to go and talk about that?
Is that going to turn into a big, massive thing? I was like, alright, okay.
I have to.
Oh god. Alright, so, personally me, not a fan of Skyrim, not a fan of Zelda. These you combine the two, somehow they've made a game that I am in love with, and it's weird, I haven't been engrossed in a game for ages, but somehow, I think it's just due to the matter of how much time they spent on making this game. It's structured in such a way that you always feel like you're never, like in open world games like Skyrim, you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right path here? Have I just went off and went down
the fun, getting whacked by a giant and flying 100 feet in the air.
But for some reason, Breath of the Wild feels so polished, you feel like you're playing a linear game, because everything feels so well developed and rich in detail, and it's just, I don't know, I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. What's surprising, considering this is something I would never play. I just picked this up because there's I knew I was going to buy a Switch this year, and there was no other games day one that I wanted. So I was like, hey, I'll get this. I feel like it would be quite a waste to buy a whole new console just to play Metal Slug, so I may as well get something. But it's really caught me off guard with the level of polish, and it's like everything's down to the opening 5 minutes. I played it here in the studio with yourself, Shaun, and it's like we were just chatting, we're like, oh, this is such a cool handheld, oh, it's got Joy-Cons, so, and then it's like we put it up and it was like silence, and I was like, oh, this is something special. Oh god, sorry, I'm gushing.
I totally agree. I think everyone was waiting on this game for years. Obviously it was meant to be a Wii U game, it's now coming on both, but the expectations for this were through the roof, and it's still superseded the expectations. And like I said, it's up there as I think it's second now, just below Ocarina of Time, is it?
On the highest rated games of all time, I think it's Ocarina of Time, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2,
I think it's ahead
Zelda Breath of the Wild.
But it's literally one of the best games of all time, and I think as it goes on, it'll get more reviews as well. It's probably going to take one of those top 2 spots. So I think it exceeded everyone's expectations. It seems like a reimagining of Zelda, going back to the original Zelda, and they've kind of taken that and just made a modern version of it, but even bigger and better than what people expected. Exactly like Anton's saying, the world is gigantic. I've only touched a fraction of it, but the world is absolutely massive, and it feels like where Skyrim, like Kat's saying, you go off and do these side quests. It's like that, but when you go off and do these random little things, it then turns out it wasn't random, and it ties in perfectly, and you're like, I just went on a random bit here, and maybe that's probably something with the game design. It's leading you subconsciously into different areas, and then it ties in. It's like I said to you, Michael, earlier when I was playing it, I was up there a bunch of cliffs, mountains, and I thought I'll just go up here because I had Epona. I used my amiibo for it, and I got Epona. I thought I'll just ride up here or whatever. I was mucking around. I jumped off Epona, went into this and I was in Catriona village in the mountains, and this is a main village. So I was like, how the hell did I end up here? And I felt it's like that reward thing you were talking about. I felt rewarded for experimenting and adventuring off and just going somewhere totally random. And I felt like that throughout the game so far. everything I've done, everywhere I've went pretty much, I've thought, I'll just try and jump off here, I'll see if I can get there, and I've got up to the top of a cliff or swam across a bit of water and I've got rewarded with something, or I've tried something. And this is where the mechanic thing comes in, like the physics. I was sitting at one of the shrines and it was covered in thorns, and there was a campfire next to it, and there was a bunch of bokoblins there. So I killed the bokoblins and I thought, I can't get into the shrine because I couldn't fly into it or glide into it. I thought I'd just try burning it. Went on flames. I thought, this is amazing. And it's bits like that through the whole thing that I've done so far. Just daftly, I'll chuck a boulder there and it falls on their heads. I'll chop a tree down and it kills a baddie. Just stuff like that. It's like anything you think you're going to do, it seems to work. And it's never been limiting in any way where I felt like, oh, that's really annoying. Even when it's like killed me on like my own sort of daftness, I've always felt it was justified because I was being an idiot. It wasn't the game punishment, it was just, I was crap. So you'd run up to a baddie and you'd have a crap weapon, you'd get wasted. And you'd be like, right, I'll go off and get some weapons. And you come back and you could beat them a little bit more, get wasted, run off and get some more better weapons. And you can sort of wing your way through it, and it works. And it never feels like it's punishing, it just feels like it's rewarding. And I'm exactly the same boat as Anton. I was never a big Zelda fan. I never really played any of the originals. Again, I sat here and watched Connor playing Skyward Sword, playing Twilight Princess. So I was watching him and I thought they were good games. I could see why he was into them. But I was still never a big fan. And then this was getting made and I was like, I'm interested, looks quite nice. And I felt I kind of went off the boil a little bit before the Switch launched. I was like, I'll just get it anyway. And I've been hooked on it. This weekend that just passed there, I've been playing it. I took it down to London on the plane. I played it there. People were asking about it. I've had it at work during lunch breaks. I've been lying in my bed at the flat playing it. The weekend there, I basically came back on Friday night and I played it the whole way through Friday, done an all-nighter. I got 2 hours sleep, woke up, started playing it again for another all-nighter. So I was absolutely burnt out and I only managed to catch up on sleep yesterday, but I played it for literally about 14 hours straight. I was just like, and I've done about 5% of the game.
I feel really left out. I feel really left out now.
You're selling it. Really, you're selling it well.
You really are.
There was a story that some guy posted up, and there was a bridge. Right, this is the attention to detail, and it's maybe been done in other games. I don't know, but I've never heard of it. If you go up to the bridges in the game and you stand on the edge of a bridge, there's a guy called Briggle comes up and tries to talk you out jumping.
Wow.
Oh, I think I saw that on Facebook.
And like he stands there and says, "Don't jump or whatever, or don't do it. Come and talk to me. I'll talk to you about it." And it's like,
oh,
holy hell! It's like they've thought about stuff like that.
And the crazy thing is, it's like you're sitting there and it'll start raining. People run into shelter. You come out and people, like, if you talk to them after, and they'll refer to like the previous weather. If you're like riding through, they'll be like, "Oh, so you come from a horse." And it's like the game design is so genius because there's not a single tutorial in the whole game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of features to use. Every button has like 15 things you can do with it in different situations.
You're making it sound really, really good and everything, but I'm a big story person.
The story's
What's
there.
the story all about? What's it even about? I know nothing.
This is the incredible part of it. Sorry, I'm gushing over like Zelda here. I'm not even a massive Zelda fan, but I am now.
What's the story? What's the deal?
This is the thing. You start off and you've lost your memory, and 100 years has passed. You've lost your memory.
How is he not old? Sorry, I'm going to be that guy.
That's the whole point. You're trying to work it out, and as you're going in, and as you're exploring, you unlock the memories, the hidden memories. So you start unlocking bits, and you're like, right, okay, so that's what happened, and you start getting the story slowly. You've got a sort of overriding sort of story, but it tells you 100 years ago, Calamity Ganon destroyed like the world, and you'd been injured and stuff, so you went into a slump, whatever. But anyway,
and this is all early on, so this is not spoiling anything.
Yeah, it's right at the very start. You get told pretty much right at the very start, like very basic stuff. When you're on the Great Plateau, the guy who looks like Robin Williams. He's like I think it's a tribute to him anyway. But he sort of tells you some of the basic story about Calamity Ganon and how he came about. And then as you sort of start progressing, like I said, you start exploring and you'll stumble into someone and it'll turn out to be a main or partly main character who'll tell you about a memory, and you'll start unlocking bits. You get side quests that unlock bits, and you start finding out the story, and it's amazing. You start like realising there's this whole world, and you're stumbling across bits that are unlocking it, and you're feeling like, oh right, I'm progressing. So even though you're exploring and you're just doing random stuff, you feel like you're still getting the story.
There's not like a bit like where it's just like, oh, go to this town to do your main mission. Is it like that? Because that's kind of RPGs. That's what they're like to me.
It's kind of weird because there's some stuff where it's like there's a lot of like dialogue and small dialogue trees it's not too expansive in that department. But in some situations, it's like, hey, this is your quest. Go there. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to go there. So it's kind of following some of the generic RPG tropes in that kind of department.
But even with that stuff, you don't have to do it. There's no time or anything. It's like they'll drop a hint. They'll say, if you go to Karikaro Village or Karikiro Village, whatever it's called, if you go there, then you might be able to speak to Impa. So you're like, well, where's that? So I might go to it, but then you get distracted because a deer stumbles by and you're like trying to shoot a deer to get some meat, and then 3 hours later you're like, oh yeah, I was meant to go up to a village. So you go to the village and then you get like a bit of the story and you're like, well, that's unlocked a big part of the story, but it's only a tiny fraction. It's like that constant, you're doing these things, you're like, oh, that's amazing.
This sounds, put it on PlayStation.
See,
I'll play it.
I feel like they really, like, this is a game where they've really focused on the psychology of the player and predicted what you're going to do. So as I was saying about the game having 0 tutorials, it's like, it doesn't need to teach you how you can climb and you've got stamina. Like in the old Zeldas, I remember in Ocarina of Time, it's like you had to do a quest and they're like, it's like, oh, go do that, and then it's like, see, you've got stamina and it goes through a full dialogue tree. But in that Breath of the Wild, it's like, to get out of the initial room, it's like, oh, you need to climb a wall. It's there. You have to figure it out. And it's like, when you're going off to see this character called Impa, they've put stuff along the path that the players, like, the game's been designed in such a way that it'll lead you down certain paths. It's like stuff's been placed along there to teach you all the skills to make you go through the game.
Left out.
Right,
guys.
well, two things I've taken from this. One, I need to go buy a Switch in Zelda. ASAP. And 2, next week we're going to have a no Switch, no Zelda zone in Gamify 24/7 because it's incredible, and I can't wait to have a real experience playing it. But there's so much stuff happening right now that we just don't even have the time to do it all. So we're gonna really try and focus on some other stuff as well. But I can guarantee within, let me see, 35 seconds next week the word Switch will have been mentioned once. I guarantee it.
Can I just add something for people that are watching that are interested in the Switch? As much as like we're going on about Zelda here, check out Fast RMX. It's phenomenal as a racing game. It's an indie title. It's only like £17 or something. It's fantastic. It looks phenomenal already on the console. Made by Shinnin, great game. Snipper Clips puzzle game. It was made by an indie game again. Nintendo took it on board as a first party game. It's phenomenal as a puzzle game and a multiplayer game. Really quirky, loads of character. And then check out stuff like the Neo Geo stuff and that. What's the other game you got as well?
Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove.
Yeah, again, it's amazing.
They've got it's Treasure Trove. It's like
the whole thing, isn't it?
£23. You get all 3 games, and the third one's currently timed exclusive.
Yeah.
And it's really clever how they're doing it. It's essentially, if you buy the game now, you'll get all future campaigns, and the game will go up in price. You'll get all future campaigns for free, and as the game, longer the game's out, the pricing of the whole collection will go up.
Yeah.
So they're rewarding early adopters to be like, hey, you want all the Shovel Knight games? And they all got different mechanics. You're not playing as the same character per game, so it's a really good collection.
And I'm just saying that just because I know people will get the Switch and they'll say there's nothing on it, because I've read loads of posts about people saying there's no games, and that's the mistake I was making. There's no games. But you've got an amazing racer game, futuristic type of Wipeout type game right from start. You've got a great puzzle game. You've got some classics like Neo Geo games. You've got Shovel Knight that's like a classic but a modern game. And you've got Zelda, of course. So there is some amazing stuff there for anyone, really.
Okay, go check it out then. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Right, we've got about 3.5 minutes. And we've got just enough time to do the Retro Corner. Yay! And today it's Retro Cat's time. Cat, what have you got for us?
Well, I'm going to take you back to 1991, the year I was born. So I don't remember
that makes me feel so old.
I wasn't able to play this, obviously, in the womb and such. So sorry, everyone. But this.
I was 22 at the time.
We're all just revealing some ages now. But so the game, you probably know it because it's quite famous. The Secret of Monkey Island.
Yes.
I was like, please, anybody? Yes. I love Monkey Island because it's so funny. It's so funny. I miss LucasArts. And I'm wrecking the point and clicks clearly because my last one was a point and click as well for the Retro Corner. The reason I picked this is because I just got an iPhone again. Yeah. I'm one of those guys. And years and years ago, when the iPhone 3G was a thing, I bought the remastered kind of Secret of Monkey Island for like a $5. I've noticed it's not on the App Store anymore, and I was like, what the hell, I bought that? But I found it again because I'd already bought it, so I re-downloaded that, so I'm like, yes, I can sit on the bus and play Monkey Island, and it's so funny. It's so funny, you kind of just forget that. I played the fourth one, Escape from Monkey Island, first when I was a kid, and that's a bit more complex, obviously, because it wasn't 1991 then. And I didn't realise when I was playing the fourth one all the kind of repeating jokes that run through it, like rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle, look behind you is a three-headed monkey, and just like all this other stuff that's just so funny. So I did a little look around, because obviously I've got it on my phone, but you can get it on Steam. You can get at least 2 of the old ones on Steam. I don't know about the third one. That was kind of more of a cartoon kind of one. You can't get Escape from Monkey Island for some horrible reason. That's the only one I really want to play as well, but you can't seem to get it, and my version of Windows doesn't let me play it even with the discs, so it's horrible. Has anyone played it at all? Do you know what it's about?
Oh.
I have not, no.
Fake fan. Is it Sid Meier? Is that who it is? Sid Meier's Monkey Island? Is that who it is?
It's LucasArts who...
Oh yeah, I've played it.
I was really like looking at your face. Yeah, it's just about this like guy called Guybrush Threepwood, who's like,
it's a cool name.
He wants to be a pirate. It's set like in the Caribbean. He just really wants to be a pirate, but he's the least pirate-like guy in the whole world.
I think you might get it as a download on. Is it on the 360? I think it might still
I don't
be on
think
the
you can get like the originals on the 360. They did do some kind of more recent like episodic type ones. I've not played those, but I don't think they were reviewed that greatly, because they're kind of newer ones. I think it's Tales from Monkey Island is what they're called. They're newer ones.
Yeah, no, but I was sure I played, unless I'm confusing it, but I'm sure I played it again, the original one, on a console. So I'm going to check that out. It's maybe worth checking out. But yeah, anyway, just to go back to your point, it is brilliantly funny, and
so
it's just so well done. And if you're a fan of the likes of Broken Sword and any of those kind of games, and to be honest, the point and click genre, what's great about it, and this is what you're kind of alluding to, Kat, is that you can play it in 2017 and it's still a brilliantly funny game. It still plays well, and it doesn't matter that it's a bit slower than it would be now and there's less happening, because it's a great fun game, and point and click games age pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. It's so good. So I would definitely recommend it. It's always just like Guybrush is trying to do something. He wants to just be a pirate. There's this evil ghost zombie pirate LeChuck, who is the bad guy, who always wants to like steal his wife Elaine, who is a badass pirate woman.
Well,
she really, like, to use a really horrible expression, wears the trousers. She's a strong, independent pirate woman who's married this guy who's totally flamboyant and funny and weird, and he just wants to be a pirate. But yeah, that's
a great shout for the retro choice today, Kat. I've got to say,
yeah,
I think
everyone should play it.
It's one of the
honestly.
best yet.
I don't know anyone who wouldn't like it, basically, to play it, because it's just
quite a claim.
It's quite a claim, but it's, honestly, you guys would love it.
Bring it on the Switch.
Oh god!
if they brought that out remastered on the Switch, even Kat would buy one. So maybe that's what they should be looking at doing.
There we go. Nintendo.
That's us out of time. It's been actually. You know what? We could probably talk for another hour. I feel like it's one of those nights where we could really just talk and talk and talk. So I think what we should do though is end it and start again next week, and we can talk about all the other stuff we didn't get onto today and a whole lot of new stuff, because it's got another week in gaming, and it seems to every week there seems to be crazy stuff happening. So that's it for Gamify 24/7 episode 8.
We've actually, just to leave it on the thing there, we've changed the thing on the Small Fry Facebook page. On the side in the tabs, there's now one for Games Lounge and Gamify 24/7, and you can click on that and see all the episodes in there as well if you want to stay on Facebook.
I'm going to just add, Stuart asked me when the next episode was coming out, and I told him it was last week, but it was obviously this week because we thought it was happening last week. But yeah, so Stuart, we're back!
This one's for you, Stuart.
Shout out!
Alistair messaged me, a listener, and he said, when is the next episode? I haven't heard it in a while. Has my iTunes broken? And I said, it has.
Yes, it was iTunes' fault, sorry.
Yeah, no other factors played a role there.
No.
Just all iTunes.
iTunes broke.
It's all
We've done
iTunes
20
fault.
episodes. iTunes broke.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
damn.
You're way behind. This is episode 8 point something. Anyway, listen, guys, we better go. We will be back next week.
Woo!